Hey folks, Rick here from the LaLa Farm. Today we're going to go over our new garden structure. Stay tuned. So I started the structure back in the early fall of 2019, and here we are, what, a year, a little over, so all of fall of 2020, now coming into the nearing spring of 2021, so a year and a half roughly. I've been working on this structure. We don't work on structures really in the summer. All of the work on this has really been done in the cooler months, so we took a break for about 5 months during the heat of the summer. So let's do a walk around of the new garden structure. So you'll recognize on this structure, it's very similar to the earlier structures that we've done, similar to the buck barn, similar to the chicken coop, in that I use lean-to designs pretty extensively. It's higher on the back, lower on the side that I want the water to shed to. This is no different. The thing that's unique about this structure is it's divided into 3 sections. So we've got a greenhouse section, we've got a work area, and we've got a farm storage area. So anything that we don't lay hands on very often will go into this part of this structure. So all of our wood storage, things like that. Let's walk around, kind of show you the design of this. So everything starts with laying out a square and then sinking in 4x4s into the ground all the way around it. The 4x4s on the front are lower than the 4x4s on the back because that's where the headers run between those two. So 2/3 of the building is covered in galvanized steel, and the other third is the greenhouse area. So the only part that I have yet to finish is really the flashing along the back edge. So I'm going to put some more galvanized steel hanging down beyond that 2x6, and then there will be another piece of flashing that will keep water from running inside. All of this kind of stuff, we just got it staged back here right now. This is old chicken feeders, chicken waterers. These are our best nest boxes. We're putting 2 of them back into the back coop. I'm going to put one up here in the front. But they're going to be stored up in this area because it's stuff that we don't lay hands on all the time. Those of you that have seen us work with the bees, this is where the beehives were. The beehives are now going to go into the garden area, so they're going to be inside of the garden structure. Not the garden structure, inside of the main garden itself. So these are going to be moved to the inside as well. This is the back of the greenhouse. I've got 2 12-inch, 12 by 12-inch fans that will ventilate this in the warmer months. I've got basically a thermistor, which is a temperature sensitive switch that will turn these fans off and on. We still don't have water and electric out here. I will be getting those utilities out here probably within the next couple of weeks. We got a good deal on 2 doors. So we've got a door on the outside of the greenhouse and another door on the inside of the greenhouse going into the work area. Got a great deal on these at Home Depot. They were like 90 bucks for the frame and the door themselves. So I'm really happy with that. That was bargain. Let's come around to the front of the structure. This is the front of the greenhouse. So as I said, we've divided this structure into 3 distinct sections. So you've got this storage section all the way to the right. This has got all of my this has got my wood pieces. Right now, in the past, this has been scattered between the barn, my workshop, and just various places around the farm. So we've kind of brought all that together. We've used a lot of our old wood for this building. So this pile used to be about 4 foot tall by 5 foot wide, and that's really all we got left. So we've used a lot of our old wood to build this building. So this will have all of our old wood staged. On the back of this section, I'm going to put in shelves that will have all of our beekeeping supplies. So all of our deep hives, shallow hives, the supers, all the frames, all of that stuff will now be stored in this structure. There will be no doors on this, so I'll have good ventilation throughout. And we've already tested it. There really is no rain that gets in here except at the very top where I still need to put some flashing in. So this is the middle area. This is the work area. Once this is plumbed with water, then I'm going to be putting kind of a gravity sink in here so that it will just drain out so that I can wash vegetables. pot my plants. All of that will be done in this work area. I'll have all of the gardening tools, which again right now is scattered between the chicken coop, the dog kennel, the barn, and the workshop, will all be kind of centered right here in the garden workshop area. So a little bit about the construction. Again, this is 4x4s, and then there's a 2x6 strung between the 4x4s from front to back. That's what creates the grade of the roof. 2x4 purlins are what's attached to the 2x6s to attach the galvanized steel roofing onto that. It's really very, very basic construction, but very, very functional. So this is the work area. Moving through the work area, then we come into the greenhouse area. And again, this is the same door that I showed you on the other end. And this is where we'll be doing all of our seed starts, and this will allow me to grow literally all winter. So we're in Florida, so people say, well, why in the world do you need a greenhouse in Florida? And that's a perfectly valid question. We live in Northeast Florida, which is probably one of the coldest areas of Florida, right on the edge of the Suwannee River Valley. So a lot of days in January each year are in the 30s or below. So we get on average 20, probably 25 days of freezing per year between December and the end of January. We'll be able to grow in this greenhouse all winter despite those temperatures. Now from probably May through probably late September, maybe even early October, this will not be functional in here because it will just be too hot. But for the other 6 months out of the year, we'll be able to use this. All of our seeds will be started in here. For the spring garden, our fall garden seeds will be started on another rack that I'm going to build, and that'll be a later video. So here's the inside view of the two fans that I talked about on the outside. So it's nothing more than a high velocity fan. These are intended to ventilate about 1,000 square foot. Now this building is nowhere near 1,000 square feet, so it's a little bit of overkill having two, but you know, I believe build big or go home. So now we've got an actual place to put all of our old gardening supplies. You know, I've gardened most of my life, but for the most part, the last 15-20 years, I have gardened far less. Really because work has gotten in the way of me being able to. But all growing up, when Rick was very, very young, when I was in the military, every year we had a garden. I tried to start one about 3 years ago. I actually started the seeds inside. I've got a grow shelf in there, a lighting shelf in there. Started the seeds, but again, work got in the way and never even put them in the ground, so they just died. So I'm super excited to have this building done. You know, I'm trying to slow down at work and spend more time in my garden. So I've got all my old supplies. So we've got all of our seed starting cells here, some of the trays that I use. And then we're able to get our hands on some old restaurant food buckets. These are for hard-cooked boiled eggs. Square buckets. So these are about 2 gallons. And so we will be doing some of our containers in this. I've also got some 5-gallon buckets that we'll be using. And we'll be doing a combination of raised beds and containers. And we'll be having numerous videos related to that in the year. But for these benches, these are nothing more than 2x4s on 4x4 legs that are then attached to the 4x4 walls. This is a 4x4 goat and sheep panel. We've got tons of this panel because this is the panel that we use to move the goats around. So we've probably got 20 panels. This is also what I'm going to be using on the trellis work on the raised beds out in the garden. That's a whole nother video as well. So this is the back shelf. We've got another shelf that wraps around here. Same exact structure. Nothing more than 2x4 pressure treated with 4x4. I didn't want a solid top on this because I want any water that does drain off of the seed starts, I want that to drain down onto the ground. So I wanted something that was functional. This stuff is indestructible. Very good wire. So hope you enjoyed this tour of our new garden structure, which includes the greenhouse, the work area, and storage. Hope you enjoyed this, folks. Always remember, treat others as you would like to be treated.